Hello everyone, welcome back for Monday's डेली न्यूज़ एनालिसिस। और आज का न्यूज़पेपर खोलते ही एवरीवेयर वाज यूएसए एंड ईरान। क्या किया यूएसए ने ईरान पे, क्यों किया, किस तरीके के वेपन्स और मिसाइल का इस्तेमाल किया, हाउ इट विल गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट इंडिया, उस पर स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। बिकॉज इन लास्ट जो भी हमने लाइव एनालिसिस किया था, वी हैव सॉ दैट कि आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू कि कितना ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस है स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज का। एंड नाउ स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज को एक्चुअली बैन करने का, या वहाँ से जितना भी एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट हो रहा है, ट्रांसपोर्ट है, उसको बैन करने की बात आपका ईरान ने कर दिया है। नाउ यूएसए इज एक्चुअली रिक्वेस्टिंग चाइना कि प्लीज कन्विंस ईरान कि ये पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज का जो अलाइनमेंट है या जो इस तरीके की ट्रीटी है उसको ईरान बैन ना करे। हालांकि ये पॉइंट है कि इट विल ऑल्सो गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट ईरान एज वेल, उसकी इकोनॉमी पे भी बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट होगा। बट कंसर्न ये है कि फिलहाल ईरान मूड में है बदला लेने के यूएसए से, तो वो कह रहा है कि मुझे किसी से कोई फिलहाल फर्क नहीं पड़ता, मैं स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज जो है उससे रिलेटेड जितनी ट्रीटी और इंपोर्ट और एक्सपोर्ट है उसको फिलहाल मैं बैन करूंगा। और अगर स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज ईरान जो है वहाँ पे बैन करता है, ट्रीटी को कैंसिल करता है, जो कि आज तक वर्स्ट केस में भी नहीं हुई है, उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे केवल दुनिया ही नहीं इंक्लूडिंग इंडिया पे बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ने वाला है। यहाँ के ऑयल प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा राइज करने वाले हैं, गैसेस के प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा राइज करने वाले हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि ये ईजीएस्ट जो वे है, इसका ऑल्टरनेट इतना ही है कि फिर हम यहाँ से वाया शिप जाएं ओमान की तरफ एंड देन वहाँ से हम अंदर बाय रोड इंटीरियर एरियाज़ में जाएं, जो कि कॉस्टली पड़ने वाला है। सो येस, द कंसर्न इज कि अब आगे क्या होगा। सो एवरीवेयर इन न्यूज़पेपर एवरीथिंग वाज रिलेटेड टू यूएसए एंड ईरान एंड द इजराइल एंगल, ये ट्राइंगल। नाउ इस ट्राइंगल में रशिया भी पूरी तरीके से इनिशिएट ले रहा है, वो भी वॉर्न कर रहा है इजराइल एंड यूएसए को। और ये क्या इम्पैक्ट रहेगा, इंडिया का क्या रोल रहेगा, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो इन टुडेज न्यूज एनालिसिस वी विल गोइंग टू डिस्कस कि एक्चुअली क्या था, कौन से एयरक्राफ्ट से अटैक किया गया, किस लिए अटैक किया गया, एंड वाई मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल लाइक इंडिया ऑल्सो ट्राई टू अटैक द न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट स्टेशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान। सेम यूएसए हैज अटैक द न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट स्टेशन ऑफ ईरान, सॉरी यूएसए हैज अटैक न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट ऑफ ईरान। एंड सेकेंडली इजराइल भी वही कोशिश कर रहा था कि वो ईरान के न्यूक्लियर बेस पे अटैक करे। सो वाई एवरीवन इज ट्राइंग टू डिस्ट्रॉय द न्यूक्लियर काउंटर पार्ट, और क्या इससे जुड़ा कोई कन्वेंशन नहीं है, क्या इंटरनेशनल लेवल चीज़ पे कोई ऐसी कन्वेंशन या ट्रीटी नहीं है जिसका डर इन कंट्रीज़ को हो, और अगर है तो कौन सी है, और अगर है तो क्या वो इतनी इम्पैक्टफुल नहीं है कि जो इनके डर के मारे इसका इस्तेमाल ना करे। सो येस, लेट अस स्टार्ट विद द थिंग्स। सो फर्स्ट आर्टिकल कि वाई यूएसए हैव स्ट्राइक ईरान न्यूक्लियर फैसिलिटीज़ एंड इसका इंडिया पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा। तीन जगह, फर्दो, नतांज एंड इस्फहान, दीज आर द थ्री न्यूक्लियर बेसिस जहाँ पे बंकर बस्टर्स आपके बॉम्ब्स गिराए गए। नाउ व्हाट इज बंकर बस्टर्स बॉम्ब? एक्चुअली कभी भी इस तरीके के जो न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट्स होते हैं वो आप बेस पे नहीं बनाते, दीज आर समथिंग वेरी सीक्रेट पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री। सो आप अक्सर उसे ज़मीन के अंडरग्राउंड बेसमेंट्स यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग। सो अब ऐसी मिसाइल्स हमने जनरेट कर ली हैं, या यूएसए के पास ऐसी मिसाइल है जिसके बारे में हम पढ़ेंगे, जो 200 मीटर अंदर जाके आपका नुकसान पहुंचा सकती है। दैट मीन्स कि न्यूक्लियर फैसिलिटीज़ को मेक श्योर किया गया कि पूरी तरीके से तबाह करे, ताकि पूरा इसका इम्पैक्ट देखने के लिए मिले ईरान पर। हालांकि जब ये न्यूक्लियर पे आप अटैक करते हैं तो एक्सप्लोजन का चांसेस होता है, रेडिएशन के चांसेस आर वेरी हाई, बिकॉज रेडिएशन से आप, ये रेडिएशन केवल ईरान तक सीमित नहीं रहेगी, चांसेस आर देयर कि ये रेडिएशन पाकिस्तान तक भी आए, और इफ़ ज़्यादा एक्सप्लोजन रहा तो इसके कुछ आफ्टर इफ़ेक्ट्स इंडिया को भी देखने पड़ सकते हैं अगर इन फ्यूचर वापस कुछ ऐसा हुआ, अगर इस पर्टिकुलर ईरान के न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट पे इफेक्ट पड़ा। तभी देयर वाज अ न्यूज़ कि इंडिया ने गलती से, हालांकि गलती नहीं थी, इंटेंशनली था, लेकिन हमने उनके न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजर्स पे पाकिस्तान के अटैक किया था, न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स पे किया था। न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजन होने के कारण देयर वर चांसेस कि आपका जो है इंडिया की तरफ वो रेडिएशन आ सकती थी, जिसके चलते एक रीज़न ये माना जा रहा है कि देन एंड देयर तुरंत के तुरंत वॉर रोकी गई। इजिप्ट से बोरॉन और मिट्टी लाकर डाली गई पाकिस्तान के उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया में ताकि उस रेडिएशन को हवा में फैलने से रोका जा सके, कहा जा रहा है। दिस इज, अभी तक कोई इसकी ऑफिशियल रिपोर्ट नहीं आई थी। यूएसए ने भी कहा कि अपने न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजन्स रोकने की जो फ्लाइट है उसके थ्रू बहुत सी स्प्रेडिंग और बहुत तेजी से काम किया, तभी यूएसए कहता है वी आर द वन, वी हेल्प इन मीडिएशन। तभी ट्रंप ने अपना ट्वीट करके कहा था उनके लोकल प्लेटफॉर्म पे कि मिलियंस ऑफ पीपल कैन डाई, देन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान शुड गो फॉर सीज फायर। सो बहुत से ऐसे रीजंस एंड है क्यों, लेकिन कंसर्न इज न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजन। जब आपको पता है कि दिस थिंग इज सो मच डेंजरस, तो वाई पीपल आर अट्रैक्टिंग ऑन द न्यूक्लियर फैसिलिटीज ओनली, दैट इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट। सो स्टार्टिंग विद हुआ क्या, there was a tension between Israel and Iran going on। इसकी हिस्ट्री जानने के लिए यह है कि अरब एंड इसराइलीज कंट्री के पीछे में वॉर बहुत टाइम से होता था। इसराइल अपने एग्जिस्टेंस के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, अरब कंट्रीज दे डोंट वांट कि एक ज्यूज की कंट्री यहाँ पर प्रेजेंट रहे पूरी अरब कंट्रीज के बीच में। हालांकि डेप्थ में जब जाएंगे तो कभी और इसमें डिटेल पे बात करेंगे। और पीछे आप देख सकते हैं इसराइल एंड पैलेस्टीन की वॉर के बारे में, देयर इज अ वीडियो ऑन चैनल, आप उसको जाके देखेंगे, यू विल रियलाइज कि एक्चुअली वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट दिस। Yeah, we have discussed about this. So currently what is the context is actually USA and Iran ka there is a clash between Iran and Israel which was going on. USA took the entry because USA is supporting basically your Israel. Now what happened, because of which is it अब now after a continuous war with Palestine, now you can see कि Israel पे there are after effects after so much of war, कि अब Israel पे नुकसान हो रहा है, there are explosion after effects of war can be seen in Israel as well. Then your USA came into existence and they said that कि I will going to bomb you Iran, just try to mediate, जल्दी से जल्दी try to sign a peace or treaty agreement, वरना दिक्कत हो जाएगी, you will have to face the consequences, and consequences have been faced in a term of a explosion or the missile attack which was done by USA on Iran on their nuclear weapons. What are the targets? So targets were the 3 nuclear power plants, as I already told you, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. These were the 3. What was the Trump? Because Trump was keep on trying to saying that forcing Iran कि just sign the treaty or the agreement with USA to stop these kind of nuclear power plant for further formation. And Iran is one of the most nuclear rich, considered as one of the most nuclear rich country in the worldwide. That's why USA have a concern कि भाई how they can make, we are the one who are the strongest one, they can't allow। हमेशा से बड़े देशों की from like when you will go and see the history, there is also always a history ki the big countries like your developed countries like a USA, Russia, China, like China is not a developed country but always it's one of the major country of United Nations Security Council as well. So they always want कि इनके पास weapons रहे, but they don't want other countries to prepare nuclear weapons or warfare. They said that कि बहुत हो गया, नुकसान हो रहा है देश को, let's stop making these kind of nuclear weapons. That is the concern. That's why majority of the country don't prefer to listening them. Now cut to Russia has taken entry. Russia is saying that now we will also going to, now we will support Iran, now we will going to attack USA directly or indirectly. Now this is the concern. Now it is again, earlier it was a war between Russia and Ukraine, but actually it was an indirect war between US and Russia. Now again it's a war between Israel and Iran, but now indirectly it will going to change, or it will may turn into a war between Israel, USA and Russia. So this is a war of USA and Russia, but every time any particular XYZ countries are stuck between these two superpower rivalries. Now economic and energy market impact, it will directly going to impact the economic and energy market, because the prices of the oils and gases will going to rise at a very high level if this particular war has not been stopped. Halaki there are peace talks and there are various initiatives and diplomatic talks are going on in Oman so that this particular war between USA, Israel and Iran stop. But let us see, let us hope for the best. So yes, definitely it will going to affect India at a very high scale, because India's 60% energy need comes from this particular region, Gulf countries, and that's why it will going to impact us at a very large scale. Now these are the bunker, the missile which was used, that is B2 missile which has been used. It is one of the costliest, it is the costliest missile of the world, सबसे ज़्यादा dangerous, one of the most advanced missile of the world, that is the stealth missile which has been used, the bunkers missile which has been used by the bunker busters missile which was used by your is USA. And it is very important you should aware of the features and qualities of these missiles, because UPSC can ask you in prelims about the missile statement. They can just give two right statements or one wrong statement, or these kind of statement combinations can be given by your UPSC. So this particular missile ka technology and how this technology works is very important for you guys. Now what is before this, there is actually also, before this particular missile there was also one kind of bombing which was in use that Iran has done on Israel, that is cluster bombs. Cluster bombs. So what are cluster bombs? That is also important because this was also in news. Cluster bombs are like, they're like, for example, एक missile जा रही, that is also known as butterfly missiles. So क्या होता है कि you will launch a one missile, but the moment it will about to hit the ground, it going to disperse into 20-40 small bombs. So it's like कि शुरू तो एक मिसाइल से हो रहा है, but end होते होते till it is coming to the ground for the attack, it will going to disperse in various छोटे the small bombs that will going to affect that particular area at a very large scale. But concern is not this. The major concern behind that is कि जो भी cluster bombs होता है, like for example this is missile, one it is here, it has been dispersed into small like these kind of small bombs. The problem is that ki only 60% of these bombs are effective at that point of time and 40% are just waste. ठीक है? But out of this 40% there are chances 20% or let's say 10 to 20% the bombs which out of this 40% might explode in future. इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि अभी खराब हो गए तो फ्यूचर में भी दे विल बी खराब, नहीं, फ्यूचर में दे माइट एक्सप्लोड. दैट इज द मेजर कंसर्न अबाउट क्लस्टर बॉम्ब्स एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव क्लस्टर म्यूटेशन अग्रीमेंट और कन्वेंशन. बट India, Russia, USA, Israel, Iran, these are the countries which are not signatory to this particular cluster mutation agreement. This is the concern कि भाई अभी तो Iran has exploded on Israel this cluster mutation. 60% of the missiles, the small bombs have already damaged the Israel. But the concern is the 40%, and out of that 40% there are chances in future if there is any construction kind of work is going or any infrastructure development work is going on in Israel, and galti se if they have hit that particular bomb, that might lead to a very big explosion or affect the population at a very large scale at that time. So before this missile, cluster missile or cluster mutations were also in news. So this is then also important. Now coming back to the topic, what is qualities of these bombs? So it's a long range stealth bomber. Just imagine it has been basically launched from your USA. Okay, there was also a conspiracy, conflict. Majority of the bombs or missiles of basically USA is launched from Guam. ठीक है, and Iran was like totally focused and intelligence agencies were working on the Guam region कि जैसे ही यहाँ से if any of the missile or any of the thing has been attacked from this particular region, we will going to crash that particular thing in air only. But USA played smart. What USA did, USA ने अपनी ही country के majority from a different direction, from a different location, they have launched this particular missile. That's why Iran was not able to trace the location of this missile. That is also the concern. But on the another hand, this missile has a capacity to actually क्या बोलते हैं, जो भी radar system है, तो actually जो radar system होता है in the air, उसको एकदम से चकमा देके, उसको एकदम से मतलब it will not come into the radar system of any XYZ country, and it can affect and it can impact that area. That is the quality of this particular bomb which has been used by your USA. It first flew in 1989. Then in 1993 it has been delivered to US Air Force starting. Then there are currently 19 in services. and it is maintained by a company that is not important, but yes, we can see that it is maintained by a company that is known as Northrop Grumman Corporation, because of the Boeing, the Dreamliner AI crash which has been taken place. So the company Boeing was in news, and that's why there are chances ki they can ask you something like with a company associated with any technology, because it's UPSC, they can ask you anything. Now USA B2 जो cost है, like approx it is a $2.1 billion cost, one of the most expensive military का weapon worldwide. So USA has used one of the most expensive, which have a very strong payload, plus it is a all weather, all altitude. Like in current days we are making a satellite, we are making basically the weapons which are all weather, like किसी भी weather में you can launch, because in current scenario there is not something कि बारिश होगी तो we will not going to fight, धूप होगी तो we will not going to fight. It's not like that. So currently it's a all weather, basically all altitude capacity capability missile, plus it can penetrate the sophisticated air defense system. As I told you, it can penetrate the air radar system of any XYZ country. Then 2 pilots and 1 commander is there in this particular stealth flight, plus it has a MOP quality. Okay, we will discuss. It has a MOP quality, but plus its basically speed is 628 miles, that is 1010 kilometer per hour. That's a huge thing. And plus USA is one of the country which has made a intercontinental basically missiles. That means ki you can launch missile from one continent to the another. That means USA sitting then and there can affect your Russia as well, can affect your India as well, matlab Asia as well, Europe as well. Like from there only, sitting from in their country, they can launch missile and they can affect any XYZ continent in the world. So this is actually the quality of weapons they have, plus it's have a capacity of carrying approx more than 1,000 of the payload, कि इतना payload के साथ, इतना kgs of weapons के साथ they can basically fly. So that is also the quality, plus it doesn't require fueling to some extent, but it has quality of aerial fueling. What do you mean by aerial fueling? That means for fueling it doesn't have to come to ground. क्या होगा, एयर में, मतलब एयर में ही फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट एयरक्राफ्ट इट कैन बी फ्यूल, तो हवा में ही उसकी फ्यूलिंग हो सकती है. दैट इज द एरियल फ्यूलिंग क्वालिटी. पेलोड कैपेसिटी अप टू 18,144 kgs allows the aircraft to carry a diverse array of conventional and nuclear weapons. This is very important कि B2 bombers are the only plane capable of carrying MOP, that is massive ordnance penetrator. That is very important. This is the only flight जो MOP जो carry कर सकता है. MOP, as I told you, nuclear reactors are not on the ground. Majorly जो भी पूरी functioning होती है that is underground, और इसके पास एक capacity है that it particular B2 can carry a missiles or weapon that can penetrate 200 meter or to a certain extent. So this is very important. UPSC can ask you, there is B2 is one of the missile or basically one of the bomber which has the capable of MOP. So no, it is the only missile which is capable of MOP, that is massive ordnance penetrator, and this is very important criteria, or this is very important feature of this particular weapon. Now second article, what is the reason why countries, ज़्यादातर countries, why they prefer attacking or targeting the nuclear power plants? यूक्रेन में भी देखा, when there is a war going between, अभी तो भी currently situation is not normal, but still यूक्रेन रशिया में भी we have saw that कि yes, Russia try to attack, or they are actually attacking the Ukraine nuclear power plants either physically or by cyber attacks. Same India का India's basically Kundakalam National Park, Kundakalam nuclear reactor, basically we have made it with the help of Russia. That was also cyber attacked. That was actually, it was said that the base is China, but time to time our nuclear reactors or our nuclear plants are also basically being attacked, cyber attacked also. Why everyone is after these nuclear reactors and nuclear power plants? That is the concern, and UPSC might ask you in mains ki what is the concern here, why everyone is after these nuclear power plants? So reason is because these nuclear power plants are capable of producing majority of the electricity for a country, and that can also, matlab it's very important for as a source, important source of energy. So to cripple energy infrastructure, for electricity is required for every functioning in developed or developing country. So if you're going to affect, or you will going to blast, or you will going to hamper the nuclear power plant, then you will are directly impacting the electricity and the other infrastructure work which is going on in particular country. So it will directly and indirectly going to affect the economy of the country and development process of the country. So to cripple the energy infrastructure, nuclear power plants supply a significant portion of country's electricity. Example, to 2022 में Russia-Ukraine war, Russia has tried to attack the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant of your Ukraine, जिसको पूरी तरीके से it has destroyed. Secondly, to prevent nuclear weapons development, because we know that Iran is actually one of the highly rich or one of the highly abundant nuclear weapon countries. So USA is not in favor of it. USA want कि जो हो वो मेरे पास ही हो और किसी के पास ज़्यादा ना हो. So USA, and because of the war between Iran and USA which was going from your 1980s, there was a scene in 1979, I guess. In 1979, this particular matter of Iran and actually Iran-USA war, the conflict between USA and Iran started when there were approx 49 to 50 USA embassy people which was staying in the Tehran, that is the capital of Iran. I'm so sorry. Because of some reason, Tehran has seized that US embassy or the people, 49 to 50 people of USA, and they were kept as a hostage for 444 days. So this is the first where the conflict has been started. Then in 1980s, Iraq-Iran war was there, and USA has supported Iraq. Then time to time, the sanctions, the nuclear weapons sanctions, there is always clash between USA and Iran on the basis of sanctions. Ki USA always want ki Iran should stop making these kind of nuclear weapons and nuclear power plants, the technology and missiles. But yes, this is all, Iran is always in favor. Why should I stop? This is my right. I will make, because I'm not using it to hamper any country. I'm using it for my personal safety, because I'm also prone to countries which in future they might attack me. So yes, I will develop my nuclear capability, and for my development and country economic growth, I need these kind of nuclear reactors. So these are the small conflicts which has basically widen the gap or widen the issues between your USA and Iran. And one of the consequences of that particular war, which has been initiated after hostage of on an average 49 to 50 USA personals in Tehran, which has resulted into bombing by USA into Iran. So yes, to prevent nuclear weapon development, countries, they don't want for the country to develop more nuclear facilities. That's why they are against this. So nuclear facilities can sometimes be dual use, that is for civilian energy, that means for electricity and other purposes, but for military use as well, for the development of weapon purposes. That's why the other countries don't like that, and they try to affect and to destroy the nuclear development power plants. Example, in 1981 also, your Israel basically attacked your Oshirak nuclear reactor under Operation Opera, fearing Saddam Hussein might develop the nuclear weapons. So this is the second reason. Third reason is basically psychological impact or pressure. For example, they have USA has destroyed 3 basically nuclear reactor power plants of Iran. Now, other countries, the Western countries, the Middle East countries and the Asian countries, specifically India, is concerned about their trade which is going with this particular region of oil and gases, that is approx 60%. Now, we will going to put pressure on Iran कि भाई please stop, because of you हमें भी नुकसान होगा, आपको तो जो नुकसान नेशनल लेवल की इकोनॉमी पे हो ही रहा है. So please just make sure कि आप इस particular war को यहीं ख़त्म करें. Try to make agreement, try to develop or try to basically come on a convention or come on basically a way out, so that other part of the countries do not hamper, including you. So that is kind of a to create a psychological pressure or a terror on the countries कि रोक दो, and because of the if you will not going to stop, we will going to attack again and again, and other countries which are near this particular region, they will also get affected. So they will going to initiate, they will have talks with Iran or matlab other the country which is actually have been bombed, their nuclear power plants have been bombed. So other countries will going to talk because it will going to impact other economies as well. So attacking can fear the potential nuclear disaster, that's why other countries are concerned and they will going to have talks. That is in 2022. Same Ukraine Russia, from last time Ukraine Russia, Israel, Iran, these India Pakistan can be also used as an example. So these are the countries which were in a situation of war or they are actually part of war, that's why we can use example of these particular country. Then to gain tactical or strategic military advantages, because once you will going to cut or once you will going to affect anyone's other countries these kind of nuclear weapons, definitely you will become powerful. You will have a feeling ki haan, we have tactically and strategically impacted the nuclear power plant of that country. Now we are the one who having the authority or power. So now we can manipulate the countries, but Iran currently is not in a mood कि भाई साहब मैं नहीं करने वाला हूँ, I will retaliate, जो करना है कर लो. So this is actually the current mood of Iran, but let's hope for best कि ये जो करना है कर लो वाला mood और ज़्यादा ना हो, because it will going to impact humanitarian at the end environment and humanity. So the major concern of these political or geopolitical or geostrategic war is it is directly impacting the people and environment of the country. So yes, it has a direct strike. Obviously people will also die, plus it will going to impact the nuclear reactors or radiation will going to impact environment and people at a large scale. There are chances because when these kind of situation occur, majority of the people they evacuate to the another country, they fly. One of the rich or cream people they fly to the another country, but middle class and normal people they can't, they don't have options for such thing. So yes, it is directly going to impact the people and humanitarian crisis. Now we were discussing about कि क्या ऐसा कोई convention नहीं है? Is there not any convention which will going to stop them? There is a convention that is known as Geneva Convention, but countries are not actually in favor कि अब in a current scenario WHO, IMF, United Nations, these were the organization which were having a very strong effect prior globalization, or you can say prior 2000 or 2010. But in a current scenario, these particular organization, international organization, their work was to maintain peace, war, economic stability. In the current scenario, they are not that effective. That's why Geneva Convention, which was signed in basically your Switzerland, is actually not effective at this point of time, because countries are not listening to these conventions, they are not following these convention and international organization. So but yes, Geneva Convention is a set of international treaties which say that there should be a legal standards in war, जिसकी वजह से there is a not a more majority of the humanitarian, मतलब there is a less humanitarian crisis. Like अब war है तो there will be humanitarian crisis, but Geneva Convention says that कि these are the set of legal treaties कि भाई there should be less humanitarian crisis or no humanitarian crisis. You should look after this. You should follow the tactics and strategy which makes sure that there is a less or like less number of people are affected by this particular attacks or things. So yes, this is a set of international treaties that establish a legal standard for humanitarian treatments during war. First Geneva Convention was adopted in 1864 basically to protect the wounded soldiers on the battlefield at that time, but later on it has turned into the war की war के time पे अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है, then we have basically 4 generations of 4 conventions which is related to Geneva Conventions, and everything says a different thing which we are going to look after. So currently yes, there are 4 Geneva Conventions which talk about कि how people should be treated, and it was actually amended after, it has been adopted after your 2nd August 1949, that is after World War II. So what are the generations of Geneva Conventions? What they say is that is very important. First convention said that at that time कि भाई it will going to protect the wounded and sick soldiers during the war. So if any particular soldier which has been wounded or basically which has been injured in the war, that will be protected under first Geneva Convention. That kind of treatment and aids and basically different facilities will be provided under this Geneva Convention. Then second Geneva Convention, it extended to wounded, sick and shipwrecked military persons at sea. So it has also included sea part. Earlier it was land, then it included in the second generation convention, it has extended to sea as well. Then third generation focuses on the treatment of prisoners of war, कि जो prisoners of war होते हैं, जो उस particular situation में trap हो जाते हैं, उनकी भी they will also going to included, their treatment will also be included under Geneva Convention. And then the fourth generation protect civilians as well, including those in occupied territories from inhumane treatment. So first it started with land, second generation would also extend to basically water, then it also included the prisoners of war, and then the fourth Geneva Convention, which actually said that we have to protect we have to protect those, basically we have to also protect the civilians which are affected in this particular war. And now we can see that is the civilians. Thousands and lakhs of people are dying from past 10 years in Syria, Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq, Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. Why? Because of this particular war which is going on, and Geneva Convention has totally failed in this war-like situation. So that's why UPSC time to time asks why these particular conventions which were very effective at certain time, now they have been completely failed. It was asked during COVID-19 regarding your WHO, then your United Nations, then once you're with your IMF. Now chances are there they can ask you something like this in prelims and mains. So this is very important article. So everything we have tried to discuss, this is a combination of 3 to 4 articles which were there in news, different newspapers. So we have tried to conclude that particular thing and have presented here as a one article in front of you. Now the second thing, natural diamonds lose their sparkle but lab grown stones still have a shine. So there are basically two kinds of diamonds which are prepared currently in the country. One is natural process की जो बहुत वक्त से from a very larger time they are actually underneath, उसको आप extract करते हो, you are working on the refining and then finally एक diamond आपके पास निकल के आता है. But now, not now, this is not the current technology, but yes, now we are making the number of production of lab grown diamonds, मतलब artificial diamonds which are made in actually labs has been increased, and they are considered as more reliable, and they are actually in more demand as compared to original diamonds in the country. So what is important is ki what are the lab grown diamonds. So these are basically known as synthetic or man-made diamonds. That is not grown, that is not produced by the natural process, but actually it has been created in a lab. अब डायमंड तो दूर की बात है, वी हैव क्रिएटेड बेबीज इन अ लैब, सो वी हैव क्रिएटेड शीप इन विद द जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग, सो वी आर ऑलरेडी एट अ वेरी हाई स्केल टेक्नोलॉजी. नाउ वी हैव टू सीक इन फ्यूचर what kind of thing comes to us. Now yes, we have a synthetic, there is a synthetic man-made diamond which is actually produced in a suitable environment. We have created an environment in a lab itself which is comfortable, which is suitable for a diamond to be produced. So they are created with a controlled laboratory environment rather than being mined from the earth. So it will also going to affect, it will also be, these lab grown diamonds are helpful for the mining industry, because when we mine, so we are actually impacting the environment and the local people at a very large scale. It is actually affecting the people life, it's also matter of a life plus also the environment of the people at in that particular region. That's why it is also helpful in protecting people rights from which are staying in the minor areas. Now they have a same, obviously they have a face same physical characteristics, मतलब it will look exactly same सब कुछ सेम होगा. It sometimes it is not easy, मतलब sometimes क्या, majority of the time it is not easy for a layman people like us to differentiate कि कौन सा lab grown है and which one is actually the natural diamond. So this is very important news. Now what is lab grown diamond we have already studied. Now what are the two main methods which we are using? So obviously coal को produce, basically to produce diamond we need a very high pressure, because in the underneath, under earth के अंदर there's a very high pressure, high heat temperature, because of which diamonds basically produce. That's why it's a high pressure, high temperature technology. We mimic the actual temperature, the actual conditions which are required for natural diamond to grow. So that's why we mimic the natural diamond formation technology or conditions under high pressure, high temperature method. Carbon is exposed to high temperature because carbon is very important in this process. And the second is CVD, that is chemical vapor deposition, that is use of carbon rich gases like methane in chamber and carbon atoms deposit into diamond seeds layer by layer. So these are the two methods which are important. Now one more thing, how UPSC ask you questions, wo to we are discussing what is current affair which is important from examination point of view, daily newspaper analysis, what you have to study from that particular topic we are discussing here. Now prelims ke liye to we are preparing, but for mains how to write answer, how basically we are working on the answer writing thing, what should be written in intro, what should be your basically body, we should write in big paragraphs, small paragraphs, what should be the headlines, what should be the headings and subheadings, how to make flow chart, how to make diagrams, what should be in the conclusion, what type of question demands what type of basically answers, evaluate, critically analyze, enumerate. So everything will be cleared in the very next session, जो कि just after this newspaper analysis live session there will be a daily answer writing session or mains answer writing in a series we are starting. So we want you to also join that particular series so you can understand. Plus that series is very useful for those people who are giving examination or who are actually the people who have qualified prelims but they are also giving your 2025 mains. Plus it will also going to affect helpful for other person to how to write answers from a beginner level and what should be written and how to analyze question and what should be written. So it is very important series, do follow that. It will be very helpful for your preparation. And answer writing is a thing कि ऐसा नहीं होता है कि आज से करूँ कि कल से करूँ या shall I start after 2-3 weeks. It's very good, it's very impactful if you start your answer writing just after 1 week or 2 weeks of your starting your answer preparation, because from the very it is like a revision strategy. So consider initial days your answer as a revision strategy. कोई भी topic पढ़ने के बाद just try to write answer or summary kind of thing of 150 words to 200 words. So your answer writing is like your earlier days, it's a revision practice and then later it is basically a proper answer writing material. So you will get habitual to